Hi everybody, I'm Kevin. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about chainsaws and chainsaw safety. So I hadn't really intended to do a video about chainsaws, wasn't in my plans at all, but I saw a video recently on YouTube that came across my feed that kind of bothered me a little bit. It was a very popular YouTuber who does a lot of survival and bushcraft stuff, and her and her buddy went out in the bush and built a little shelter with a chainsaw, which I have no problems with. That's cool. But I did have a problem with the safety that was featured in the video. They had no protective gear at all. And in some cases were using the chainsaw improperly. So I followed up with a simple comment describing what I saw were problems with the safety being featured in the video, and I got a response right away from the author of the video saying, yeah, you can hurt yourself with anything. It's about situational awareness, and yeah, that's not right at all. But then other folks piled on and got disrespectful, and she very quickly took away all the comments on her video and banned all comments. So I certainly didn't like any of the negative comments that were made following my comment. They were disrespectful, and you know, I guess that's what you get when you get a popular channel. People feel they can pile on like that. That's not what I'm doing. That is not what I'm doing at all. Full respect to the person. Great for all your success. I do think a fair criticism about safety is fair game, though. So who am I, and why would I talk about chainsaws and chainsaw safety? Well, I happen to be a professional forester. Did a lot of work in forest harvesting in my past. Taught and lectured on forest harvesting, and part of that was involving chainsaws. I don't consider myself a chainsaw expert, but I have taken chainsaw safety training, and consider myself fairly competent with a chainsaw. I cut 10 cords of firewood every year for my outdoor wood furnace. And I once had a job working on a farm where I cut pulpwood with a chainsaw all the time. So yeah, I'm fairly competent with one of these things, and I think safety is important. So situational awareness doesn't really cut it for me. I don't think you can be situationally aware enough to run one of these things without proper protective equipment. It just doesn't make sense at all. I've been a supervisor in a sawmill, and I currently supervise people now, and I really take safety very seriously. And I know from experience that complacency causes accidents. I'll give you a simple little example. I should know better, but Christmas time, we went to go get a Christmas tree, and I brought the saw. And I thought, hey, I'm just cutting one little tree. Why do I need to wear pants? Shouldn't I know better? Well, I should have known better. I got the saw out, found a tree, and started working on it, and slipped and fell on my ass. And fortunately, the saw was running, and fortunately, I was able to put it down as I was falling. But that was stupid. That was absolutely stupid. And I should know better. So I make it a point to always wear my gear. So number one, you need your PPE, your personal protective equipment. No amount of situational awareness is going to protect your ears or your eyes. Chainsaws flick all kinds of material, and they are extremely loud. Most chainsaws are at least 90 decibels. You can't run that for 5 minutes and not hurt your ears. So you need ear protection, and you need eye protection every time. So what else? You need to protect your hands. You need to wear leather gloves all the time. Chainsaw has a lot of features that'll protect your hands. Okay, if that chain breaks and comes off, there's a little pin here it'll wrap around, and there's a shield here to protect your hand from the chainsaw. But you never know what's going to happen if that chain breaks. Having a glove on is super, super important. That'll protect your hands. You also need to wear the right pants or chaps. These are protective pants designed for using a chainsaw. The whole front of them has protective layers of Kevlar fibers that go back and forth in different directions. A chainsaw theoretically could cut through that, but it's designed so that if you do make contact with the chains running, the fibers will get ripped out of the pants, and the fibers will wrap around inside of here and stall your saw. So it'll limit the depth of cut. You still got to be careful. You should also be wearing at least steel toe boots. If not, get a pair of these that are designed for chainsaw use. The whole front is protected, so I'm not gonna cut off any toes or cut into my foot. So after personal protective equipment, I think the next most important thing is saw maintenance. You should have a fundamental understanding of your saw and know how to maintain it. Know how to keep your chain sharp, know how to adjust the tension, know how to change the air filter, know how to look for minor problems and clean it up. Know how to check the chain brake, make sure that's working. Know how to adjust the idle speed so that your chain doesn't run, doesn't turn it idle. All simple things. There's lots of great videos out there about that. I'm not going to duplicate all that stuff. Most manufacturers of the saws themselves, Stihl, John Sered, Husqvarna, they all make great videos about maintenance and safety. So you should watch those. If you're buying a saw, you can afford the gear and you have the time to watch those videos. And I highly recommend taking a chainsaw course, although those courses are fewer and far between these days. Alright, so my saw was a little bit loose. It's been sitting in the garage for all winter until I decided to make this video. So I have to loosen up these bolts on the top, on the side, and then I can adjust on this saw the tension with a simple screwdriver. A little too tight. Back it off. There, it should be snug, but you should still be able to pull it away a little bit. Once I've got the tension just right, I tighten this up. It's going to lock that in place. So, simple maintenance, so important. Another simple thing is saw sharpness, sharpening your saw. A dull saw is a dangerous saw, so you want to have your saw sharp. And you need a file and a file guide to do that. You should also have a depth gauge and a flat file, but I won't get into that here. You need a file guide so that the angle and depth of your filing of your chain is just right. There's even better guides out there that'll hold this on even better, but that's a minimum. That's what you need. If you don't have a file guide, you're going to have an improper depth for sure, improper angle, and your saw won't be as safe. Alright, PPE, personal protective equipment, chainsaw maintenance, and lastly, use of your saw. So one of the things I saw in the video was a drop start, which you know, you see an awful lot of. People do that a lot. Looks like this. Sure, that looks cool, but it's not the safest way to start a saw. Proper way, and it's hard to do here because I'm standing in snow, but proper way is to put your foot in the handle and then start the saw. You always want 2 points of contact with that saw. If you're drop starting it, that saw blade, that chain is spinning, and you only have 1 point of contact on that saw. That saw could twist easily if you slip, catch you in the back of the leg. Or somewhere else. So the proper way, turn your saw on, put your foot in the handle, alright, that's a lot safer. So another thing I noticed in the video they didn't like was they were cutting a piece of wood on the ground, kind of like this, and the saw clearly hit the ground. That will instantly dull your chain, and you need to sharpen it right away. When that happens, it's instinct. You notice the saw isn't cutting as well, and people tend to do this, and I certainly saw that motion. That's not what you want to do. That's not how a power saw is supposed to work. It's the chain that does the cutting, not your arms. So yeah, the saw becomes less safe once you hit the dirt. Everybody does it. You should try to elevate the piece of wood as much as possible and try and keep your saw out of the dirt, but once in a while it happens. When it does, stop, sharpen your chain, proceed. That's always hard work. So I can't say this enough. This video is not about calling somebody out in terms of who they are, what they do, or anything like that. It's simply a statement about safety. And if this is a community about learning and people are serious about that, then this is fair game. You know, this wasn't a comprehensive video. This is very short. You're not going to learn all the techniques. In fact, I'm a little rusty myself. So before I say goodbye, I just want to reiterate that this is not about being disrespectful to someone else's work. On the contrary, I'm very respectful of it, and I think that the people that are disrespectful on that channel in terms of comments, well, I just wish that wasn't so. But this is not about that. This is about safety, and I think whether you have 5 or 500,000 viewers, if you're demonstrating that you're an expert in something, or you're showing other people how to do something, I think you need to take safety into account. I think you have a certain obligation to do that. So that's all I got to say. Hey, thanks for watching.